Bum, 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 bum. Dooby dooby doo, boo doo boo boo. All right, folks. Welcome to Scooby's live stream, 14th of November 2018. For all those concerned who don't know the date, day's almost over. Does it really matter? Answer: nope. It doesn't, folks. So I'll let a few people roll in here, and we'll get started on my little midweek review of what's been going on in the land of YouTubes. Well, not the land of YouTubes, just my little circle of YouTubes, you know. I've thought about coming live over the past lot of days. Ended up, to be honest with you folks, wasn't feeling the greatest, so back to sleep and all that after being an insomniac. So it is what it is. When I feel like I'm up for streaming, I'll be up for streaming. Yeah, I'll be telling my truth from here to eternity. The thing is, when I tell my truth, I can back it up, as I have been doing. You know, I've had to teach these people, these investigators, Pizzagate investigators, the last 2 years. Hey, Kickstand, how to, you know, research the copyright, strike infringement penalties, etc. Hey, Tailgate, it's going to be an interesting stream. So we'll let a few more catch up because they'll be kicking themselves. You know, if we go in the full swing now, people will be kicking themselves. Not to miss the start of it. Although plenty of people watched the last one, folks. Plenty of people watched the last one. In fact, I tend to do a lot better. I get my information through this way than making videos about it. Which I find strange, but nonetheless, and I'm talking about 10 minute. Well, 10-minute vids from eternity. I don't blame you. If that's what you've discerned, brilliant. My whole point down here, my whole point now has turned into kind of like multifunctional, kind of adapting with the situation, and you know, as time goes on here, every week goes on, I look at what's being said and I weigh it up with what's previously being said, and you know, that's all you can do, because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people spill a lot of crap on YouTube. You know, they talk about game, that, you know, all talk, no action, that type of thing. You know, and that's what we're facing in these days. Hi, Winter. Um, so so here, we just while I'm here, just while I'm waiting for people to come in, I thought I'll tell you a wee story that happened to me during the week. Or you all know you're not allowed to smoke inside in public places anymore. It's been totally banned in the UK that you're not allowed to do it, and Northern Ireland, and as well as Ireland. In fact, Ireland acted way before the UK and Northern Ireland on this. But anyway, you're not allowed to smoke. That's the main thing. So if you want to have a cigarette, you have to go outside and smoke outside. So I'm standing there, and This guy freaking rolls past me in one of them electric wheelchairs. Uh, Sorry, coach. There's no pedos on my channel. I imagine you're probably a nice sock account there, but no. If you can find a pedo, certainly point it out, and I will make a point of not allowing them on my channel, coach, or her, because females can be pedophiles too. So yeah, if you can name any of these pedophiles that we're allowing on our channels, please name them, and I'll certainly deal with the situation. Otherwise, if you're just saying things to say things, then piss off. You actually remind me of another channel that came into my chat there. Oh, maybe about 3 weeks ago now. Spoof movement. Uh, those what's he say? Fairly traits and those around Dave T are pieces of shit. Dave T's not on their channels as far as I'm aware. Dave T people have made a video passed along the information. Freddie, etc. OG, Wake Now, Treats has probably done it too. I'm not 100% sure on Treats, but I'm sure they've done it, and quite rightly so. They've outed the guy. They've made people aware. Outed's not the right word. They've passed on public information that people should be aware of if they're going to interact with this guy. And that's 100% justified in my mind. So Freddie and OG, etc., doing that there, I had no problem with that. That's 100%. Um, Given the whenever they did the live stream, Dave T coming into the live stream, that was me at friggin' what do you call it, initiated that, you know. As he walked into the stream to give us crap. He was talking about my video that I just put up, and he had made various threats in the comment section towards me. And when I seen him pop in the chat, I said to him, "Here, come on in the hangout and talk to us." And surprisingly enough, he did. It's quite a surprise, I'm sure, to everybody that partook that day. But that there was the full hangout with Dave T on it, coach, is available on Freddie's channel, I'm sure. It was on mine, but I took it down because I didn't want to be copyright struck, given the way the water seems to be lying at the minute. I didn't feel it would be smart enough. You know, people seem to be holding a grudge these days, but because they appeared in a live stream with him, we did ask him questions. He did answer questions. It went on for quite some time, and if anybody sat and listened to it, the coach, as you call him, I'm not sure. I did see Rene that you left me a message on Hangouts. Coach, nobody's trying to ban you here. Nobody wants to ban you. You have your own opinions and you're entitled to them. But certainly, I'm not going to turn around and say there's anything wrong with what that hangout with Freddie and all and Net for Truth was, because there wasn't anything wrong with it. People got to see what the truth was. People got to hear in his own words this ridiculous delusion that he's passing on to everybody else. That was the whole point of that stream, that hangout. We got to question him one on one. There was like 6 of us, 7 of us at one stage in there asking him questions. But we all took individual questions off him, which, to be honest with you, was the best possible thing to do, because everybody picked up a different line of thinking and a different line of inquiry whenever you actually listened to it. And I would advise anybody, if you're unsure about Net for Truth, you don't weep it. slow in the uptake of what Net for Truth is, or you've just kind of got into this whole uh, carry on that's going on at the minute, then definitely head over to Freddie's channel and watch the no, nobody's trying to build their channels off a pedo, for crying out loud. Are you kidding me? I mean, let's be honest. Net for Truth had 1.3 thousand subs whenever we did that interview with him. He now has over 10,000. When I did the interview, I had 100 and something subs, and I have 400. I'm not doing a very good job at trying to build my channel now, am I? I mean, uh, comparable to the actual Net for Truth guy. Yeah, but all those, listen, coach, all those subs aren't legit subs. There's bot subs amongst there. He's also posting crap. You know, it's all crap. If you go and listen to what he's talking about, it's all nonsense. Sold the media, you know, sold the people on YouTube to buy into it. So I personally think he's a fraud, along with many of the channels that he hangs about with. But if you're unsure and if you think it's wrong that you know, Freddie, myself, and others appeared in a hangout live streaming with Net for Truth, I think you haven't listened to the complete interview, because it's very revealing and it's very telling. Why don't you all make real videos instead of all this allowing frauds on? What do you mean, make real videos and allowing frauds on? Give me a suggestion. What sort of real videos would you like us to make? I made plenty of real videos. I took a lot down. The ones that I left up, I felt were relevant. What sort of topics would you like me to talk about, Coach? Coach is probably a sock account. Who knows? Yeah, it could be even Freddie for all we know. I'm sure they're looking at the minute anyway. Anyway, listen, Coach, or the Coach, I've addressed this long enough. If you're not sure and want to know what it's all about, I've got a video up on Dave T. I've got OG1 Kenobi's got videos up on him. Freddie's got videos on him. Spoof Movement's got videos on him. And quite a few other channels out there. Wake Now had videos on him. I'm not sure if he still does. Um, Coach, listen, if you're going to sit and talk nonsense, don't bother being here. You know, what am I doing now? Not woke, will not bring much subs. You only want to LARP stream to make subs. Coach, I'm not interested in making subs. A lot of people that visit my stream are actually quite awake. They don't certainly need me to freaking, you know, give them a kiss of life. You know, I'm no prince and you're no Snow White. Okay? No, Coach, listen, we've heard your message now. You claim we're making pedos run our channel. No pedos are run my channel. Um, that's all I can say. I'm not going to be addressing you anymore here because you're distorting my rhythm. So carry on, folks. If to the any mods that are here, don't bother banning anybody unless they get friggin' ridiculous over the top. Okay, coach, right? You don't make sense. I'm propping up a pedophile to get subs. Yeah, okay, because that makes sense. Anyway, back to what I was talking about, folks. Okay, so the numbers are in here. You've distracted long enough, coach. Adios, amigos. Uh, okay, coach, I could say DFT 1,000,000,000 times. You know, unless there's context with that, what does it matter? Obviously, you know what the context is, and I know what the context is. But if anybody was just to walk in here and go, DFT, huh? No, they wouldn't have a clue. Anyway, back to uh, back to what I'm here for, folks. I'm only started and I've got two dislikes already. Oh well, you can't please everybody. I hadn't even got the main point of me my story. So anybody, I tell you what, coach, just for you, they will now remain nameless. Okay, the pedos of YouTube will remain nameless for this stream anyway. Just for you, saying as it upset you so much because you feel that I'm building subs off it. When no, I'm not. Well, if you stay and listen to my stream, coach, you're going to see that I'm going to be exposing quite a bit about the people on YouTube here. Because that's what I'm here for, to talk about what I've seen on YouTube the last week. Well, since Saturday anyway. Okay, anyway, folks, let's get started. So, pretty much like everybody else, I'm sure you were all excited for the weekend. You couldn't wait to, you know, listen to the All Stars v the Amigos on Titus Frost's live stream. They were invited on the live stream. It started off they weren't going to go on, and I said I would go on, and then OG said, "Well, if Scooby doesn't do a good job, I'll go on and I'll do it right." So I replied saying, "Well, I'll tell you what, you obviously do a better job than me. You go on." And I wasn't going on. And I explained why I wasn't going on. And I never had the intention of going on in the first place. Uh, that led to all of a sudden, I can't remember now if it was Freddie was going on, first of all, or OG was going on. And then the next thing, Freddie, OG, and Wake Now were all announced that they were going to go on the stream with Titus Frost to discuss, uh, you know, Gunk and Net for Truth. Which I'm going to be honest with you, I had no real problem with anybody doing it. Higher the much exposure to naming these people who are what they are and have done what they've done online on a platform. Now, my understanding is that the Titus Frost put the stream up, but it couldn't be shown. I don't know if that was because I'm where I'm from, or nobody got to watch that stream because something to do with a strike with some song or something that was played. But if you go, I believe it was BitShit. I went over to BitShit and was able to watch the live stream on BitShit, and Vegan Mikey was on it. Now, here's the reality, folks. Vegan Mikey pulls in a lot of viewers on live streams. We saw Lift the Veil get up to 5,000 people in a live stream. with me with vegan Maggie, given what they were talking about. Now, I'm not saying Titus would get 5,000. I'm just saying this whole vegan Maggie thing is pulling in views big time. Okay, um, because people are addicted, and it's to the LARP, and it's reached a large audience. So it was, from my understanding, it was announced that they would go on. Saturday afternoon, my time, there was a live stream went out. Basically, where after arranging going on, they were now the Amigos, which would be OG, Freddie and Wake now, announced that they would not be going on Titus Frost's channel because Frost had only offered them 20 minutes after Vegan Maggie. Well, I'm sorry, but if I don't say names, nobody, what do you call it, fucking knows who the hell you're talking about, coach. And I don't do cryptic, and I don't talk out of the side of my mouth. And if you don't like it, I apologize. My stream's not obviously not for you, but all other people are here, and they do want to know who the hell I'm talking about. Um, and there's that. Anyway, they didn't want to go on onto the stream with Titus Frost, one of the All Stars, as he's become known. Um, After Vegan Mikey, because Vegan Mikey is seen as a LARP in the truth community. It's seen as bullshit, not by everybody now. People, there's two roads here. So you've got a lot of people who believe in Mikey and the copy thing, and a lot of people who don't. I myself don't believe, but that's not really relevant in this matter. What is relevant, though, is after arranging that they would go on, the turned around, weren't happy with the conditions of having to go on after Vegan Mikey and only getting 20 minutes to talk about, address this topic of conversation that, they want to address. Now, personally, I was a wee bit miffed at this because these guys, Freddie and OG and all, they're not monetized. They're not here for the money. Things like that. There, that was another thing they weren't happy with. That the stream itself was probably going to be monetized, but if I remember rightly, Titus Frost came out and said he couldn't monetize. It was taken off him, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So please don't hold me to you know to that. Well, I know Freddie had said he wasn't happy about going on a stream that would be not monetized, talking about um, this topic, which I understand, to be honest with you. A way around it could have been to any money made from it, just to kneel to charity. Simple. That could have been a reasonable way around it. Um, Realistically speaking, any stream that they go on, if the All Stars are monetized, the stream's going to be monetized. End off. Now, saying that you're not happy going on after Vegan Maggie and Maggie seen as a LARP, therefore you won't have the credibility. You might lose credibility, on being called the LARP. Well, this is the truth community as such, and people discern themselves and are able to work out. And those who want to believe will believe, and those who don't won't. So it doesn't really matter that side of things. And then you have, the viewership that Vegan Mikey pulls in. Listen, shitlord dickbot, this is not what this stream is about. You're more than welcome to come back in the next live stream and have another chance. But adios, amigos. Listen, mods, I have no problem. Anybody who wants to kick not wants to, anybody who's coming in and going off topic about what I'm talking about and trying to disrupt, just kick them out because I couldn't be annoyed with it, and I'll unban them for the next stream, and they can come and have another listen. Anyway, so vegan Mikey, they don't want to come in after Mikey, but Mikey actually would pull in more viewers, as been proven, over the last period of time that his live streams with various channels that he's done. Yeah, I removed him from my. Do you know what? You're an asshole, coach. You can piss off too. Yes, folks, that was me that blocked the coach, and it was me that blocked the other guy. They're going off topic. They're trying to bring up their own friggin' crap to my channel. Listen, if you want to talk about that, go make your own channels. I have no problem with that there. But I'm talking about a specific subject. If you don't like it, don't be here. Um, Otherwise, if you try and disrupt mine, I'm going to kick you out. End of story. And coach, you've just constantly been niggling, and now you're moaning because I kicked somebody out. So you're going too. I've had enough. You've disrupted enough. Anyway, so Vegan Mikey pulls in viewers. If you were going after Vegan Mikey, I would actually be okay with that because I would say to myself, well, there's a potential to be, a lot more viewers watching the actual stream because Mikey is there. So if your purpose to go on to Titus Frost channel is to get the message out and confront a situation about a couple of channels who have been, well, one is tarnished with their criminal record, and the other is admitted to grooming a 15-year-old. That those were the topics that they were wanting to talk about. So I would feel the more the merrier in that book. 20 minutes, only getting 20 minutes to discuss these things. Well, I could do it in 10 minutes, folks. It's as simple as that. All you have to do is put out, this is what we found. We looked at these channels. Here's what we found. There's a couple of links to videos. Please go and watch, or get Titus Frost to freaking show them on his channel, and bingo, there you are, done. Now we all know that if it said 20 minutes was given, but we all know that if the stream was going good and people were wanting to listen, that Titus Frost would carry on. There's no way he's going to turn around and cut off in the middle of something. We all know that's not going to happen. So at the end of the day, in my mind, OG, Freddie, Week now bottled out of the stream. They didn't give an explanation why they bottled out the stream to Titus, because as far as he was aware, they were coming. They just didn't show up. He then said he would arrange it for another day. And to me, it looks like ego. The very things these guys claim about the All Stars, they're starting to show themselves as doing. And I feel that it's not really about getting the message out. Otherwise, if it was, they would have went out, took those 20 minutes after Vegan Mikey and spoke about those two particular channels, end of story, and got the message out. But they didn't. And they're going to tell you why they didn't. Or I'm going to tell you how it looks to me, how they didn't. And it's simple. What they wanted was, listen, folks, we found these channels. We tried to inform Titus this months ago, but he called us trolls. He sent us abuse, honeybee abuse. All these people abused us just for trying to, tell people, make people aware of these channels and what they were doing, what one had been doing on YouTube, and what the other was guilty of. And to me, it looked like they were wanting to string Titus out up instead of just getting the message out. It looked to me like they want a whole big, steward's inquiry. You know, a big investigation into investigation. Why did you bully us? Why did you pick on us? Why didn't you listen to us? And it's simple, you know, that's what it looks like to me. It looks like ego got in the way, and that is why that stream was not up. That's why that stream didn't take place because of ego, because they didn't feel they could get out in 20 minutes. Uh, why You know, everybody had picked on them, gave them abuse. Some had been banned from channels. You know, that's not fair. You know, where 20 minutes was plenty of time. As I said, I'm pretty sure, give me 10 minutes and I'll get the word out about them both in the story. And I know fine rightly that if it was that, you know, good a freaking information you were putting out, then the stream would have carried on. Now you're putting out the information about these two channels, um, or you're trying to build something on yourself. You're trying to build credibility. You're trying to build like, you know, make yourself look better than what the All Stars are. Build a platform, and to me, that's looks like exactly what they were doing. Personally, listen. Um, Again, if it had been me, if I'd have been OG, if I'd have been Freddie, and if I'd have been Wake now, and I had come out and said, right, we're going to do this. He's only given us 20 minutes. We're going off after, we'll be on after Vegan Mikey. Please join us and support. End of story. We don't agree with the stream being monetized, and we've arranged with Titus that whatever money's made from the stream, it'll be donated to like a child charity or something along those lines. I believe that would have been perfectly acceptable to every single person that listens to this stream here and now, and many more far and beyond. Adios, just in time. So that stream didn't take place. Another interesting thing happened on Saturday was I caught the first part of the stream. I caught some of the stream um, that Freddie did and later on in the afternoon, where they announced that they weren't going to be going on because they'd be on after Vega Mikey and only getting 20 minutes. Because 20 minutes isn't long enough to, you know, sell yourself, sell your channels across, and everybody wanted an apology. I think exactly. I'll be honest with you. I think that's what these people want. They want the All Stars to come and apologize to them and say we were wrong and yous were right. Please forgive us. And you know, at the end of the day, the All Stars do carry a bit of weight in this community. But what more could they do with that information other than report on what's been seen? You know, they can inform their viewers, but that's it. You can't do anything more with it. What can you do? You can inform the proper authorities, and you could make a video and make people aware, and that's it. That's all you can do with this, and that's already been done. That's already been done, folks. You know, nobody needs to sit and listen to this chat and think that this hasn't been done. It has been done. It was done a couple of months ago. So these guys, you know, backing out of that there and having the opportunity. And the biggest joke about it is, well, we'll get to this. Uh, I'll get to this in a wee bit, but just remember, I've said that. I'll point it out to you. Later on that day, before the Titus stream took place, various stream where they were talking about this and why they weren't going on it. And when you looked at some of the people that were then partaking in their chat and in the hangout, it was quite a surprise for me. So it was, because one of the first streams that I done with FK and Freddie and Wake Now, I don't know if OG was in there or not, but I know Wake Now was definitely in there. What had happened is I hadn't been there at the start of the stream. By the time I got into the stream, there was a few people in the hangouts that I didn't know. And one of these people was a lady called Jenny Smith. I don't know if that's a real name or not. Who knows? But her channel name is Jenny Smith. And the interesting thing about Jenny Smith is she's a mod for Titus Frost. You will see her occasionally in his live streams as a moderator. I've seen her there, and I'm sure plenty of other people have seen her there too. But you will see her there as a moderator nonetheless. And I find that strange that, Titus Frost moderator is in, Freddie's Hangout. Now, the other thing really that really makes it strange is this. On that stream that I was telling you about week now, where I joined in late, Jenny Smith was already in the Hangouts, and week now had been asking people to come and tell her story. So this lady, Jenny Smith, she comes forward, starts talking about her experience. I believe she was at some boarding school, and she suffered some type of abusive behaviour. Can't recall exactly what it was, but hey, Lady Court, that was the case of it. Now, during that time, um, Wake now turned out to be a bit of a dick to her in the way of, he starts shouting at her, he starts ranting and raving at her. Now, this is a woman, folks. Nobody was arguing and fighting. Wake now, just out of the blue, starts, getting all pissy after he invited her to come and tell her story because he didn't believe what she was telling him. So, I'd come into the stream, I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, other people were in the stream that day, and I called it out. I told freaking Wake now to knock it in the head, can't be doing it. Don't be treating people, I guess, And I'm not trying to be sexist or anything when I say this, or just because I say she's a woman, but out of respect, I was kind of taught and raised to respect women, you know, until they can't respect themselves, basically. But I'd call them out. The lady herself, actually starts crying. She's crying on stream, and it was a wee bit embarrassing. The whole thing, coming into play out this way. And at the time, I didn't say it, but I was thinking to myself, Freddie, why are you not ending this? Why do you not just turn her friggin' camera off? Why don't you just mute her mic and let it be done with? But he didn't, and it carried on, and it carried into more shouting and screaming by week now. And yeah, it was a very embarrassing. I had to apologize, and I felt I needed to apologize because of Wake's behaviour, which I did do. And my attitude was, look, it doesn't matter if this lady is a LARP, whether she's a plant or whether she's the real deal on here trying to tell her story that you've invited her in to do, to turn around and then treat anybody in this manner is not justifiable. And that's how I call it. I mean, I look back now, the amount of length of time it was allowed to carry on for. We had some channels, well, had one particular channel who decided to run with that narrative, talk about bait and switch, etc., and talk about how abusive Wake was. And then originally it was how abusive Wake was and how nice I was trying to freaking, calm the situation down and kind of, take respectful control of the matter. But that narrative then changed by this particular channel. So I was very surprised when I went in on Saturday and seeing Johnny Smith in the hangout, because this is a lady who had been abused on screen by Wake Now, who was in hysterics and tears on stream because of Wake Now. And here she is sitting in the hangout with Wake Now and Freddie. Now, Freddie himself told us all in a later stream how how he talked to her for a few hours afterwards, or I believe it was a few hours now, not 100%, but he talked to her nonetheless. And, as far as he was concerned, she was a plant. You know, that was what he discerned from it, that she was a plant. But as you well know in Hangouts, if you bring someone in the Hangouts, the person who is the owner of the Hangout has the opportunity to shut down any channel or any person in there within the Hangout itself, not the chat room, shut them down with their mic and their camera as well, or he can kick them out altogether. And Freddie never took any of those options up. And when I look back and reflect that, I kind of think to myself, what was going on there? Why was that not done? And I'll be honest with you, that never entered my realm of thinking until recently. Well, till Saturday, when I saw this Jenny Simon back on a stream with Freddie, who said she was a plant and a fake, who Wake Now absolutely hysterically screamed at and made her cry. And she's sitting in the stream having a chat with her, and she's Titus Fraud moderator. Hey, folks, you got to start connecting some dots here. You really do. You really got to start looking on what's in front of you. It isn't just about me coming and saying, other people have been on these streams too, and I've seen it, and you got to start connecting the dots on what's going on because there's something not right there. That stream, Week Now's antics towards women didn't just end there. It also carried on to a further stream with Dragon's Den, which he hijacked off Freddie. And that turned into another big commotion. And you're like, I felt that there was something going on. I feel now, to be honest with you, there was something going on in the background that I wasn't privy to, that I wasn't told about. And they weren't really expecting me to give the reaction that I gave because they didn't know me. But when I came out and called Wake Now out for that, etc., and I had to do something. And one of that was, we stopped working for Wake Now, and then all of a sudden, like a week and a half later, Freddie's back in bed with Wake Now, and we weren't kind of told anything about that. It just kind of happened. So when it happened, I kind of thought to myself, okay, we'll see where it goes. Now, I don't think Wake Now is a bad person or an evil person. I don't think his intentions is all bad. But I do think there's a bit of growing up and maturity needs the level in there. So to find Jenny Simon in that stream was just wow, and then with other people in the stream that I didn't recognize as well, and that, and I looked at all this and I thought, man, this is just bullshit. This is more lark. We're going on Titus Frost. We're going to take on the All Stars. We're going to inform everybody about these two channels, Gunk and Net for Truth. And bingo, we've been waiting for this for a long time. And they battled it. And I called it. I said, they battled it. I did say that my money was on the All Stars. My money was on the All Stars. And, I wish I could have got a bet with a local bookmaker there because I think I made a few quid off it. What's been interesting since then is, OG came out with a video this afternoon where he is basically threatening the All Stars now that if this doesn't happen, that if they don't get their interview with the All Stars, then they're going to start causing more problems for the All Stars and put pressure on them by showing videos, of them, from the past about Pizzagate and all the rest of it. So I'm a wee bit like, what the fuck? how can you turn around and do this? Oh yeah, I've been waiting for this for months. We have the opportunity to go on, but we're not getting on. This all stinks of ego and LARP. And I'm sorry, folks, because I know that this topic of what this is all about is a pretty disgusting topic. It's a sort of topic that, man, would make you lose sleep. And you're just thankful that it's not something you've personally had the experience or any of your children may have experienced. And it's such a pain. It's one of the most horrific things I feel can be done on any child, full stop. But I feel these channels are now LARPing this crap. I really do. I feel it doesn't add up. It does not make sense. We want to talk about this. Bring us on, Titus Frost, confront this. Yeah, yeah, I'd bring. This all started because Titus reached out and said, "Here, come on my channel, have a chat with me. We'll talk about what's been going on." And they were more than up for it. But the same day that happened, something quite suspect happened in one of their own streams as well. Uh, Very questionable indeed. But I don't understand where, 1 minute OG is claiming he's got all this respect for Titus in one video, and then the next video he's threatening them. He's sending threat videos out now that if you don't bring us on, we're going to expose you. And I've got an itchy finger, and I feel like making videos. That's what he says. And I'm not taking it out of context either because he's talking about the All Stars. The videos about the All Stars, Titus Frost, etc., and not talking about these two channels. And people have got to wake up and say to themselves, "This can't be for real." It's just like, do you know what? It's like hitting the freaking. It's like putting your wash on for a freaking pre-wash. That's what it's like. It just keeps on going on and on and on. And nothing gets dealt about it. So they're saying, we're going to now threaten you if you don't do as we demand. Well, that's where we were like 3 months ago, except there wasn't a threat. They refused to talk about it. We put videos up showing their character. I did videos on it. Those videos are still up. I'm sure quite a few people have noticed that there's a lot of videos missing from my channel. I removed them from my channel. I didn't put them on listed or private. I removed them. I do have all the videos though. I have them all backed up. I can put them up again whenever I need to. But the reason why I done that was simple. Part of the accusations because I'd come out against Freddie and OG and how they treated me. My character was then being called into question. I was accused of giving a copyright strike, not a copyright strike, a community guideline strike to Freddie, which I didn't do. I was accused of being sold out because I was able to get my live stream back after getting a copyright strike. And you're not supposed to be able to live stream if you've got a copyright strike. When the actual truth of the matter is, and I did investigate this myself, I did look it up, and the rules are, if you get your first copyright strike in a video, you can still live stream. But if you've had a copyright strike from a live stream you've put up, you cannot live stream. That's YouTube's own words, folks. It's all there in black and white to be looked up. I did have videos up on it, etc. But I took them all down for the simple reason any video that I felt it didn't really have much relevance in anything was taken down because I was being accused of selling out and trying to build my channel off their subs or off their stuff and all the rest of it, whatever the hell it was. So I just deleted it all because here, if people don't have anything to watch, how can they build? So, but these videos that I put up now, they will stay up. so they will stay up because they're quite relevant to what I'm talking about, and they don't include anybody else who was once friendly with me and are not now, who may take a bit of an umbrage against a hangout that they appear to. So I took all that nonsense down, and sure, most people on here were saying they were just a distraction anyway. So I don't feel there's any big loss, but if I need to get anything from them, I can because I have them all backed up. So that's why those videos went down. In the meantime, I do have a video ready to go of our good friend Mr. Gunk, aka Fully Sourced. That will go up soon when I feel it's appropriate to put it up and when it's going to be most beneficial. I was going to put it up after they done their live stream so people could see it and ask people to share it, etc. You know, at the end of the day, when I put it up and it's there for everybody to see, I want people to share it. And that even the channels that, like OG and Freddie right now, are still happy enough if they want to share it. Wouldn't annoy me. They're free to share whatever I have. Anything that video and all that I did on Net for Truth, which was at the time a very complete video of who he was and what he's done and showed you his websites, etc., etc. But this brings me back to all this, folks. We're watching an entire washing machine go round here, constant cycle. It's a constant spin cycle of the same story. We're back to where we were in July now, making threats against Titus and the All Stars if they don't do as we ask. Demands, more demands, just like the demands that were put on me, that if I didn't stop talking about channels that they didn't want me to talk about, they would have nothing more to do with me. The same type of demand thing. They're very good at this. Um, but and at a point, people have got to say to themselves, okay, so we've told. Oh, sorry. I want to read you this because I had to read this. This was funny. I had to laugh at this one, folks. It made my day in a way. I'll find this week just some like quotes. Some of the comments that I come across on Freddie's. You know, his video he put up. He put up a video calling out Barry Washington today for copyright striking him. I don't believe in copyright striking, folks. I feel it's like it's the same as talking out of the side of your mouth, basically. You're smiling, you're shaking hands, is smiling while you hit the button, and I don't really believe in it unless it is absolutely warranted. And Barry Washam giving Freddie a copyright strike certainly would not have been warranted. I can agree there; it was not justified at all. But he says here, most of YouTube's so-called truther community are obviously sellouts. Well, folks, I'm a comedy channel. I felt I had to change it to comedy because, there's no truth community category, and comedy best describes it as anything else at the minute. Hopefully, we can get it back on track by getting rid of some of the weirdos on here, but who knows? He says, here's a secret. I have over 10 channels waiting to go, all with videos that show Dave T, Gunk, Shorter, and a lot of their protectors. When this channel goes down, those channels will make all of their content public. All the videos will be hashtagged to point right at all of you that want to protect YouTube's creeps, I guess. Betty, if you do not remove your copyright strike, they will all be set to public. Have a nice day. Now, I understand it's quite annoying getting copyright struck. I got copyright struck by Gunk myself, and I know why he struck me because it's very damning evidence that I have against him for that over the snuff video kid, and very damning indeed. And that will come to light in due course. But that's something I would like to tackle on my own. I don't really need anybody else to tackle anything, because this thing is different from what Mr. Gunk was doing before. Mr. Gunk admitted to grooming a 15-year-old girl online via his phone. Then he changed it to 16, and then he changed their age again. But ultimately, I have my own stuff, because I don't see that the snuff video and Mr. Gunk is kind of related in that way, other than the whole LARP thing. Him admitting the 15-year-old grooming is not a LARP. It actually happened. The video is real. He admits it himself. Then he changes it to 16. Freddie actually confronted him. The telephone call that Freddie made, or whatever it was, I think it was Discord he talked to him from, was brilliant. You know, Freddie put him in a corner. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I'm not going to say something isn't, just because I don't like what these people are doing. But the matter of fact is, what Freddie done on the phone call was brilliant, and he actually did quite well, because he managed to control himself. You know, he whined, and having that control, whined fully sourced up to that point. So we all now know that Freddie can control himself. He can. He does have it in his bag to do it. He doesn't have to always go on the guns blazing like he does. But he handled the stream very well, and he got Gunk to admit to quite a few things. And if you haven't watched it, go to Freddie's channel and watch it. Now, I myself, I did my own. I screen recorded it all, so I did from my end of things. But what happened is, my mother phoned me up during a blinking stream, and my freaking mic was on. So I left it. I left it out as it was, and Freddie put his up. And to be honest with you, I didn't need to take anything away from it. Freddie did it. It was a great job, and everybody heard about it and needed to heard about it, and the evidence is there for people to see. But I feel what I uncovered with the whole snuff thing was a completely different topic of conversation altogether. It wasn't about him being a groomer or anything like that. It was a different topic. And I'm going to confront that in my own time with, the people that need to be confronted with. And that will be a more interesting one. And yeah, there's that. So, Freddie's saying about these 10 channels. Well, folks, look, here's what I want to explain to people. Nobody wants to get their channel lost from them. I don't understand why all of a sudden the truth community channels, the channels involved in the truth community, don't like to hear the truth. I don't understand this reasoning. Where's just because you don't, maybe something puts you in a bad light or something. Well, make a video and show that if you're in the right, that you're in the right. It's crap going around copyright striking people and community guidelines and all the rest of it. It's doing more harm than good. All it's doing is putting distrust in the community, and I feel that's what people are trying to do. Now, I'm going to let you in the secret, folks. This is a secret. Out of all the crap that I've talked about my channel, and I've tackled quite a few crappy channels since I started making vids, I only ever got one strike, and that strike was from Gunk, fully sourced. I never got any community guideline strikes, none. Nobody ever come back. Any videos that I put up about certain channels and all the rest of it, nobody struck me. Full stop. And they were legitimate videos. So all of a sudden, we've got this war of striking and guideline strikes, and I don't understand where it's coming from. All of a sudden, everybody's changed and everybody's doing this. I think I'd speak out against it. I don't believe in it. If you don't like what somebody says and you've proved them wrong, ask them to remove it. And if they don't remove it, so be it. It says more about them than it does you. Especially whenever they've put it. Freddie's put a video up of me claiming I sold out and copyright strike or community guideline strike. I can prove it. I didn't. I showed. I showed why I got why the video of Gunk was taken down and why I was still able to stream. I was able to prove all that. Now, Freddie, in his wisdom, he should have just took the video down, but he didn't. He wants to keep it up. And I feel it's hurt his credibility more than it's hurt mine. That's the long, short truth of it. It's hurt his own credibility by doing that because people are seeing, people can see, and that's stupid. So, this tell 10 channels putting out, you can get all these videos out. These are the same videos everybody's seen. Where can you keep on going round and round in circles, putting out the same information over and over again? There's only so far you can do it. Now, here's an interesting thing I discovered about a week and a half ago. Random Ransom Ryan had put out a video or a short video with a link in it, putting people towards another channel. I wish I could remember their name, but it's on Random Rants of Ryan's channel. He put out a video where people are now talking about the sex offenders register and should it be done away with? Should it be end of? That it doesn't really benefit anybody. They can't prove that that it prevents children becoming victims to these people, etc., etc. And there is actually a war at the minute in America against the sex offender registry. And I feel personally now I can't speak for anybody else. I'm just speaking for myself here. I think by personally consistently putting out video about Net for Truth, as much as you don't like him, as much as his crime is the most sickening, hideous, horrendous thing it could possibly be, there's only so many times you can present that to people. At what point does it become harassment? Right now, you're going to say, okay, folks, okay, so what if he's harassed? So what? What's it matter? Look what he done. He deserves all the crap he gets coming his way. Well, that's okay. I'm not saying otherwise against that, but what I am saying, there's been a war bringing into question the sex offender registry, right? And people are wanting to go out and focus on these pedophiles online and make videos over and over and over and over about them. And the point where believe it or not, Nat for Truth could go to the police himself and claim harassment because people are constantly harassing him. It's like what would happen? What happens in the real world? Once normally you find out that there's a pedophile in your neighborhood, and you inform your neighbors about it, what's going on, because it's public knowledge. There always tends to be a bit of a backlash there, folks, and you'd find out that these people end up moving away. There's a lot of halfway houses around the place that are filled with these people because they can't really go anywhere else because of it, because they have to go and report to the local police station. They have to register with the registry, and they have to inform people of who they are. So, yeah, I mean, personally, I would make them walk around with a bell in their neck, a sign, holding a sign. But, the law is the law. And I didn't write the law. But the point is, if there's an attack on the registry, and then all of a sudden there becomes a campaign online over the summer that I've partook in, uh, where we're constantly going, constantly the same people are being talked about and attacked. At what point does a positive become a negative? And that's why I drew a line under it. I did personally draw a line under it. It's not that I'm saying Dave T, Tarashini is a good guy. I'm not saying that at all. That's no way. It's disgusting. It's sickening. I'm 100% in agreement with everybody on that matter. But at what point, you know, does what you're trying to do become effective? That doesn't. I feel it starts to become ineffective. That you know you're causing more problems for yourself than the actual person that you're trying to inform about. Um, in itself, you know, a lot of people have tend to believe that this guy Tarashini is innocent, that he was framed. People are believing it; they're taking it in. That's what they want to believe. And the same thing happens in real life too, in the real world, in the street, where, he's maybe told a neighbour who, this is what happened to me, it was framed. And that neighbour is prepared to give him the benefit of the doubt because he seems like a nice guy, doesn't he? He's an old guy and all this crap, He's got a wee bit of, he knows how to work it a bit, manipulate. He's a narcissist, all that there stuff. So in the real world, that goes on too. You'll have people who will believe a story, and you'll have other people who say, "Screw that! I got two young kids here. I don't want you anywhere near them," and they get moved out of the neighborhoods. Well, on YouTube, you can't get. We've seen it happen with Pizzagate. The Pizzagate started off as a narrative or a conspiracy or story, whatever you want to call it, that gripped everybody, had everybody on their, oh my God, couldn't believe it. And we saw how that resulted in a guy going in with an assault rifle and firing off a shot in Comet Pizza. Now, you can turn around and say it's a LARP. You can say it was real. You can't prove it was. It was. You can't prove it was a LARP. Um, as much as you can't 100% say it was real. So there's always going to be that error of, one side saying it's real and the other side disbelief, the exact same way with the whole net for truth thing. And, that was the result of people talking about Pizzagate. So if this thing with net for truth becomes a trending thing amongst the community and people are talking about them, they're outing them and all the rest of it, and somebody takes it upon themselves to go over there and do something about them, you know, who does that fall back onto? Who does that fall into? I personally feel it's all negative, and I've had to draw a line under it. Now, my videos are there, and I have no problem talking about them if anybody wants to come and talk about them, but I'm not going to hound them because in New Jersey, where he lives, he is a registered level two sex offender. In New York, where he doesn't live, he's a level three. Now, this confusion came about because we didn't realize this at the time. Whenever I certainly didn't realize it, I know other people didn't realize it at the time. But about these two jurisdictions that had prosecuted him, and what happened was I was on a stream with Wake Now, and I gave a shout out to the people that were watching, just like you are now. Do you know what, folks? It's time to do something yourselves. I don't live over there. Wake Now obviously did. I says, but if there's anybody living local and around, because I haven't Discord up at the time, my mystery machine, you know, pick up a telephone and phone the cops and find out if this guy is legitimately allowed to be on the internet. So people started doing research. Quite a few people made phone calls, and legitimate or not, that guy is allowed to be on the internet. He's not breaking the law. He's allowed to be there. You know, he's allowed to put a PayPal link up. He's allowed to have a Patreon. Now, if he's lying and all the rest of it, well, and he's caught out in something, that's a different thing. But here's the facts. People phoned up. People presented to him what was going on. I know one person in particular spent a very long time, going through the process, filling them in and everything. And I do have a Discord land, but it's I haven't got it up and running at the minute as such. There's only like 2 people in there, and I'm just going to leave it for a wee bit. But yeah, they give all the information to the cops, and they said they were going. They said they were going to be looking into it. Now, the fact that he's still here says either one or two things: the cops didn't bother their arse looking into it, or two, they did look into it, and he's doing nothing wrong. So what he legitimately was. He's legally allowed on the YouTube. He's allowed to have a channel. During that stream hangout where he appeared with Freddie and all, and myself asking questions of him whether or not he was guilty, which he did say he was guilty, and then he said he was framed, but he did admit to being guilty. Also, during that stream, he made a comment about what do you call the freaking people who guard the president? Secret Service. Secret Service had appeared at his door, and I believe that was in connection with his other channel that was taken down because he'd made a threat against Hillary Clinton. Now, I googled this and I was able to find an article in the Guardian newspaper, which is an English newspaper, about it. Now, I was a bit surprised at that to start with, but yeah, it was there. Um, Secret Service took his channel down. Now, Secret Service are not retards, folks. Okay, they're not. They're not citizen journalists. They don't research Pizzagate for 2 years and come up with nothing. Secret Service, has some very professional people there. Basically the top of the ladder. And when they go in to investigate, they would have looked at everything about this guy, absolutely everything. And if this guy was doing, anything that was they could have got him on, he'd have been done. He'd have been absolutely done. I'd have been at lights out. But that didn't happen. They took his channel down, through YouTube, and he was able to get back up and running again. Now, back then, he had 30,000 subs. He doesn't have 30,000 subs now, but he's got 10, at least 10 now. I haven't looked in a week or two, so I don't know how many he has precisely. But so my thing is, he's not legitimately, breaking the law by being here. Sure. Is he going to talk to a kid? We don't know, but the likelihood is he will. And that's quite discerning. And when I started taking a step back at all this stuff, and looking at the bigger picture of how this affects everybody going forward, not just Net for Truth, all, how it affects the community at whole, how is the best way to handle such a situation? I mean, you can't go around everybody and accuse them as being a pedophile. You can't go around doing background checks. I mean, the suspicion in the air nowadays is absolutely ridiculous. We have channels who do background checks on other channels. There's a video I have of Honeybee. Uh, I think it's my second or third video, and where she admits to doing countless amounts of background checks on people on YouTube channels, and you have to say to yourself, why? Why would you be doing that on other channels? But she has done it. So you've got people doing background checks. People are trying to dox people. People. It, it feels like the truth community has turned into the entrapment, just one big bullshit entrapment network where people are trying to entrap you and stick it to you, basically, and then rise above everybody else and say, "Look at me, aren't I great? Look what I did," and all in the name of truth. So, my I think that's all bullshit. I think the doxing is bullshit. I've seen channels come out and claim doxes that I know that weren't doxes. Um, Troll Doxer came out and claimed he doxed Washam's Warriors, and he didn't. He gave her all details, and he knew he gave her all details. You got to ask why. Why are these people putting out false doxes? And she's not the only one. There's other people being put out there with false docs, but I don't agree with it anyway. I think it's wrong. I think anybody who's partaking in it should be freaking, just leave YouTube because it's beaky. It's absolutely beaky. If you've got that point where you're doing background checks and you're doxing people, YouTube has beaten you. End the story. It's got the better of you. When you have sunk to those limits, it's got the better of you. And you're certainly no better than the people that you claim to be outing. So, in the grand scale of things, I'm looking at the whole thing. I'm saying to myself, okay, OG and Freddie and all, they want to go on Net for Truth and talk about, make people aware. That's fine. But say in a perfect world that stream happened on Saturday night as it was supposed to, and OG, and it lasted for 2 hours, and everybody got to get everything off their chest that they wanted to get off, and the community was made aware of Gunk and Net for Truth. What happened next? Well, I'm not talking about anyone particular, Winter, by the way. It's a different ball game altogether with what you're experiencing. But what back to what I was saying there, what would have happened next if the ideal scenario would happen on Saturday night that OG won and Freddie and Weeknight and Titus had done everything by the book that everybody wanted? What would happen next? Does everybody just dust themselves down and go take a seat? Or, do you stop talking about the rest of the LARPs? Well, I don't know what's supposed to happen next, and nobody's talked about that. What happens next? Nobody's addressed that in any shape or form. And that's the point that I want to address, because I feel what's more important, yes, these people are in our communities. We've learnt that, and we've shown that these type of people are in our communities. Running around doing background checks and trying to be suspicious of everybody is not the answer. The answer, and the only answer to address this situation, is to educate yourself and educate your children, to take more of a proactive stance in your children's lives and what they do in their free time, what they do in the internet, and the type of people that they may or may not come up against while on the internet. Should it be through YouTube, Facebook, or all these other social media apps it's about? Because at the end of the day, you know, with all the best intention, you cannot go out there and protect from every unknown with aggression. The only way to do it is to be proactive, to make your children aware of what type of people are out there, what to stay away from. You know, don't click on links when a stranger does start talking with you. You know, ask certain questions of them and leave them. Inform them of your age. You know, there's a whole host of things you can do. And as parents of young children, now it's different when a child gets to like 16 and all that there. But as parents of young children, I personally feel parenting has went down the tubes. Now, I'm not pointing fingers here when I say this, okay? But, you know, parenting I feel has went down the tubes literally because people will give their kid a freaking iPad now and say here, and their kid goes and watch some child's crap on YouTube, and that's them, you know, their mind's taken care of for the next 30 minutes or whatever, where they can get on with their own thing, whatever it is they have to do. The only way to go about this now is to be proactive. And okay, sorry about that. It, is to inform yourself, is to inform your child, is to, you know, every IP, every internet provider that you use, anybody uses, has settings, has specific settings to allow for parents to control what their child has access to. Um, it's the same with mobile phones and all. You know, okay, they can connect with the Wi-Fi and they could go in that way and whatnot. Well, no, because you can prevent all that. You can stop that. You can prevent your children from looking at certain sites. And if they are going to be on social media, normally with kids and teenagers, whatever, you know, there's normally a trend in like social media that everybody uses. If they're going to be using that there, then the best way to do it is police it. And you know, some kids might be a wee bit assholeish over this, you know, on privacy. But I honestly believe if any parent sits down with their child and explains to them, look, I know you're growing up, I know you're starting mature, I know you're learning new things and there's new experiences out there, but there's also a lot of bad people out there who are looking for people just like you to become victims. And, you know, I'm not trying to invade your privacy. I want to make sure that everything's cool. And that's it. And, you know, majority of children will be cool with it. You know, if you draw a line where things are, and I believe that is the most proactive way that this community can go on forward. So I am going to be making a video. I've started making it basically, uh, you know, showing people how they can be, as parents, how they can be more proactive in protecting their children from these type of predators that are on the internet. Now, we know of two people, right? And I know of quite a few other people who I would say are real bad characters on the internet, but you know, I've nothing. I can't say that they've done anything along the lines of Netflix or whatever. But you know, the point is, we know of two. We don't know how many more there is, and you will never know. You will absolutely never know. Um, you know, if you look at the awareness, child awareness websites and things like that, there's plenty of them out there. Um, Renee, you've brought up just a perfect pointer, girl, about Xbox Live. You know, there's plenty of guys targeting children from along these means because it's not policed, and you know that's why I feel kids have to be aware. You have to sit down. You have to sit them down now and make them aware. Not every game needs to be online either. So I would kind of, I would restrict my kids' access. but they themselves have to be made to understand, this isn't about trying to take away your privacy and crap like that or penalize you. We want to make you aware of the type of arsehole that's out there and what to do to people given the chance. And I feel this is an area, this is a topic that nobody has bothered their backsides talking about. All they're interested in is the same stuff, and nobody wants to address the problem of, well, how do we prevent somebody else becoming a victim? There's always going to be victims in the world, always. It's unfortunate, it's sickening, and it's absolutely gut wrenching. But I feel the more we make people aware, the more YouTubers, just as viewers, that become aware of what is in front of them in their community that they're involving themselves with, and that their child potentially has access to these people. It should be a big red flag that they should be taking precautions on how to protect themselves and their children from this type of thing, because it, if we go around constantly harassing and making accusation and suspicion of people, it doesn't improve anything. It doesn't fix anything. Um, it doesn't change anything. It just makes people lose their minds. And I would much rather see a different approach be taken altogether. In fact, the video that I make, if OG and Freddie and all do end up going on Taylor's channel, I would like to think that they would drop a link to this video. Not because they can put it on somebody else's channel, just share it. It doesn't have to be to my channel, I don't care. But I hope that they share this video that I'm going to make. Well, in the process of making, should I say. Because people need, yes, give people information of what's out there. But that doesn't mean you've got the right then to go around and harass the guy constantly. It's sickening that that's the way it is. I understand. But you got to look at the bigger picture. You end up doing more harm than good in the long run to the community. As I said, to me, something stinks about all this as well, because there is an agenda to take down the sex offenders registry. So there is. That's pretty, that's been shown. Just look at Random Rants Rant channel for info on that there. It's there. He shows it. I can't remember the blinking name of the video. I'll see if I can find it here when I'm talking to these folks. Just hang on, give me 2 seconds. You never know. If I can get the name, hold on, there it is. Hold on. If we can get the name of the video here.
So as you may remember, you might have
seen. Yeah, it's the video is on Random Rant's channel, right? And it's called David Pacman Wants to Abolish the Sex Registry, right? Now, Pacman is just the start. Once you start looking into this shit, you'll realize the Democrats want rid of this. They want rid of the registry because they don't believe that it's as effective as what it claims, and it leads to people being, sex offenders have rights. That's what they tell us. That's what they're be drumming in, the First Amendment right, all that stuff, freedom of speech. That's why they're still on the internet. There was a bill, or I'm not sure if it's a bill or an act, or something was approved in June 2017. It had a vote. There was like 99 to like a couple of something votes. And the vote was basically to remove all level 3s off social media. But even by that, right, If that came into play tomorrow, if that happened tomorrow, that all these level 3 sex offenders wouldn't be allowed on the internet. Well, that for truth is a registered level 2 sex offender in New Jersey, where he told us that's where he comes from, where he lives. So he would beat that system because it's New York that prosecuted him, and they made him a level 3. As I said, we found this out later through encouraging the viewers in the stream to pick up the mantle and do the research, go and challenge things yourselves, phone the police up, ask the questions, which they did, and they came back and told us, you know. So people would still beat the system, even if this happened. No more level 3s would still be beat, but meanwhile, there's still level 2s and there's level 1s. And the best way for anybody to address this legally, without putting themselves in jeopardy, or, one of the things Americans have to really worry about, from what I understand, is CPS. You've got a couple of kids and you're going out challenging these people. You could end up finding your kids off the CPS while you're facing some stupid charges. So I feel the best way to keep people, legally safe so that they're not going to end up in a jail cell for asking questions or demands of something is be proactive in becoming aware of what your child's doing when they're on their internet, who they're speaking to on their mobile, who they're speaking to on their games console, and who they're speaking to on their iPads and computers. Parents, it's your responsibility, folks. These are your children. It's your responsibility to do everything in the world possible to try and prevent anything happening to them. And that's why my next video, when it's finished, that will be up, will be all about showing parents how they can go about protecting their children on the internet and on YouTube, etc. And other than that, folks, I don't know what else to do, because I am certainly not one of these pedo hunters. I'm not skilled for it. I'm not an investigator. I'm not, uh, I'm not the police. My skill set is way beyond the means necessary for that type of thing. So it doesn't mean that I don't agree with what they do, though. I quite agree with what they do. I feel that they have a purpose, but like everything else, it has to be done legitimately. And there's always a ways and means. And the thing that always happens, that when somebody starts off doing something, whenever authority comes and tell them, actually, we don't want you doing it this way, we can help, but we want you to do it this way. And a lot of them end up going, no, screw you, we're doing it our way. And it causes trouble. And you're better off just working with authorities, getting the job done, end the story. So, folks, that's what needs to be done. I don't know what's going on YouTube. I really don't. From what I've seen this week, I'm very surprised. I don't understand why 20 minutes wasn't good enough. I could have said all I needed to say in 20 minutes. I could have done it in 10 minutes. And just dropped a couple of links to videos for Titus for us to play on the street. End of story. I don't understand what's wrong going after Vegan Miggy. The guy brings in views, and views is what you want. And no, don't understand it. And then I don't understand why, OG is now coming out and threatening the All Stars, bring us on or else. It's just going around in circles. No one's going everywhere. I haven't spoke to OG privately. He unfriended me, Lee, because he left a message in my Discord for me, uh, asking me to, you know, he would give me an hour for me to reply to him, and then he was going to unfriend me if I didn't reply to him. Well, Discord isn't on my laptop, folks. When I fired up my laptop later on that night, I saw the message. Well, he unfriended me. What can I do? OG is more than welcome to come on this channel, but he won't. Um, he won't. OG is not going to come on here in a million years. I know he won't. He's no backbone. Because, folks, what I've been talking about, I can show you all. I have shown. I can prove it. I've shown it. I've shown how OG in a live stream where I was demanded to attend pissed and moaned and bitched because his reputation was being called into question because of the type of people that I was hanging about in YouTube with, and that's no good. That's not. He's not going to have anything to do with that. That's that. But when I come on the stream, when I actually appeared, he never opened his mouth. Never said boo to me. Look, I have OG for dinner, folks. Let's be honest. And it's not because I'm some sort of badass or hard ass. It's because I can prove what I'm talking about. Daniel OG is not hard to read at all. I would like him to come on. I wouldn't be an asshole. Lee, we all get hit hard by truthers. Here's the biggest joke about it all. The channels that I was going after, that these people were complaining that I was being called out and made to explain myself, and everybody changed themselves with me. Uh, they're now going after. They're now talking about Betty Washington, Truth Convoy, all these channels that I was flipping getting shit from that were started turning on me, all the rest of it for no reason, for whatever. And I defended myself against, now all of a sudden, at the time, it didn't suit them, so I wasn't allowed to do it. And now that it is time to suit them, they're going to go after them as well now. Well, I'd quite Toro. I'd quite happily talk to OJ, and I'd quite happily talk to Freddie. Quite happily, I'd quite happily because I'm pretty sure that these points that I've brought up, people would like answers. It's not just me. There's other people, other channels that were attacked as well that stood by OJ, and I sat on the fence with OJ until I saw the channel he was attacking. He started attacking another YouTuber who's a lady who stood up for him, who backed his channel, and started getting shit for. She got harassed by Washington's Warriors and whatnot for because she was sticking up for OG. She had made videos in support of OG and what OG was talking about, and OG turned around and threw her to the wolves, called her a snake, mocked her content, said, described her as a man when we all know she wasn't, and mocked her content about the whole transgender thing. And that we all know that. I mean, so as soon as he done that, and I realized, okay, this isn't just me; it's other people's being brought into play there. I took him off my. He's getting the benefit of the doubt. To me, he lost benefit of doubt. He made his actions pretty clear that day, where he came out and attacked another lady who had been in support for him all this time. Who, you know, I need to disable his comments. That's right. He disabled his comments. He could the lady couldn't even go and defend herself. And that's what they do. On the video that Freddie put out today about Barry Washam hitting him with, I think it's a community guideline strike. Not sure if it's a community or a copyright strike. I'm not 100% sure on that. But anyway, he says it's Barry Washam that done it. And then he turns around and throws me in there too. Oh, Scooby's behind us as well, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck off. See, what they're doing is they're associating Barry Washam with Net for Truth, right? That these people all working together. And then Freddie turns around and says, oh, well, I'm working with Washam. So, folks, I must be working with Net for Truth too. This is the road that they're going down. This is what they're going to throw at this. So I'm not having it. They're more than welcome to come on here and try and justify. Show me if I'm doing A, B, and C. If you're going to make claims about me, show me the evidence. Show me where it's coming from. Don't make baseless accusation. Meanwhile, all this drama continues. Nobody went on the Titus Frost live stream. The truth community weren't informed, and now they want to threaten the All Stars with making videos that are going to hurt their credibility. If I was Titus Frost and somebody like OG came to me, I saw that video, I'd be like, fuck you, dickhead. Shove it up your fucking arse. I don't need to make a video about freaking have you guys on my stream to make the community aware. I can do it without this. The olive branch was there to try and heal things over. You don't want it, fine. I don't need you. If I was Titus Frost, that's what I'd be saying, folks. I mean, who do they think they are? Going around threatening channels. Here's this this is priceless. Hang on. Uh, here's the comment to Freddie from OG on his video about Barry, where he then claims that I'm working with Barry, who he claims is working with Stony Stone and freaking Dave T. Says, this is what he says: Dave Tolasini, Stony Stone, Plymouth Fury, Barry Washington, Tooth Convoy are all connected. They are all trying to cover this up as it's going to blow the lid on their dirty little group soon. I've seen months of these people working together in some way to silence. It won't work, man. David Tarasini has Twitter, and so do I. I may have to take this over to Twitter and let some people over there get a hold of this info. I got your back, man. I won't be deleting nothing from my channel. That was a dig at me in case you hadn't worked out. I will let YouTube take down what it wants, but I won't be removing anything from my 5 channels. I am not a fraud, and I don't care about my channels. I care about this info getting out, and that's it. Speak soon, Freddie. Now, he wrote that today. This guy cares so much about his info getting out. He didn't appear in Net for Truth, okay? Or not, sorry, not Net for Truth. He didn't appear in Titus live stream because they didn't want to go on after Vegan Mikey. And they wanted more than 20 minutes to talk about it. I mean, come on. The thing about the videos, I get a community guideline strike and YouTube takes a video down. You can't put it back up again, folks. Try it. It won't let you. What was the other thing there? He doesn't care about his channel. Well, if he doesn't care about his channel, then why are you gardening about fucking guideline strikes on your channel? say one thing and show another. All these people do, but this is their latest move, folks. They are trying to say now that I am working with Dave T and all. That's what they're trying to say. And I say bullshit. You know, to me, more than anything, this shows this totally vindicates me coming out and saying, "Do you know what? I'm not having anybody tell me what I can and can't put on my channel on YouTube." Now it's different big in the it's different when YouTube do it. But as far as FK and Freddie and OG demanding what I can do and what I can't do, no, it's not happening. But they're going to punish me for coming out and start to try and put me in the camp of Net for Truth. And that's bullshit. See, folks, I was never supposed to be in this. Okay? I was never supposed to be in this. When the whole Net for Truth thing, 5 days after OG put out his video, I put out my video. And the reason why it took 5 days is because I didn't have a laptop at the time. I actually went and bought a laptop. I actually purchased what's it called? Hang on, folks. Cyberlink, auto director, photo director, power director, screen recorder, wave editor. I purchased those freaking software packages and a laptop so I could put a video out about Dave T because I was that outraged with what I saw going on that these other channels wouldn't. Now, I was looking to buy a laptop anyway, but it made me speed up the process. I'm not going to say I did it just for that. No, it didn't. But it was part of the process. And it took me, 5 days to do that. And then put my video together. And I put my video out. And now they're trying to fucking underhandedly, out of the side of their mouth, throw me under the bus with the freaking Net for Truth camp. I ain't having that shit, folks. And you know what? I've shown these people more than enough dots. I connected them. I've shown more ways how these people. There's something not right there. There's something wrong with the message that's being put out. There really is something wrong with how they're going about talking about treating other channels who were supportive. This is the angle that they're going down, and I feel that all they're doing is showing more and more that I was right in doing what I've done. Their credibility is out the window. They have done themselves more harm than good. And I tell you what, folks, never fucking screw an Irish guy over because he never forgets. And their women are worse. I am not, I don't claim to be the sharpest knife in the drawer, folks, but I ain't stupid. Um, I see what's being done here, and I can call a spade for a spade. I don't talk out of the side of my mouth, and I don't speak in innuendo or with cryptic words and pretend that I know something that everybody else doesn't. I put myself out there, I put what I know out there, and I'm sorry, but if these people want to keep on at me, want to keep on going down this road with me, they're not going to come off the better. The only way they're going to be able to do anything like that there is being underhanded and dirty tactics. Throw a dox out there or something like that, something along those lines. Something to occupy people. I see nothing legitimately coming from them. I've offered them all the ability to come onto my channel and talk to me about it. I'm not going to be an aggressive asshole to them. I'm not going to be nasty. I'm quite able to sit and have a legitimate conversation and ask these questions. In fact, I now feel like I'm starting to sound like OG and Freddie trying to get on the Titus Frost channel. These people have become the very thing that they despised 3, 4 months ago. They have now become it, and they don't realize they are becoming it. And they will attack anybody and everybody that is in their way that does not go with their agenda. So, folks, I'm not going their way. Okay, I'm not interested in them personally. When they do eventually go on the Frost and put their message out there, I'll talk about it then too. Um, but I am going to start looking at more positive ways of how to go forward on this topic. And I believe the best way is to be proactive. Don't try and, don't this counteractive crap. No, be proactive. Teach yourself, teach your children, be aware, be responsible. You know, I know whenever as a kid, like, I mean, even when I was like, 15, 16, if I left the house, after my dinner in the evening, I was always asked, where are you going? I wouldn't turn around and say, it's none of your business where I'm going, screw you, and walk out and slam the door. If my mother asked me where I was going, I told her, I'm going such and such. Right, okay, what time will you be back at? Well, what time do you want me back? 10 o'clock. Right, okay, I'll be back at 10. And I'll be back at 10. And we didn't have mobile phones and crap back then, obviously. But, I mean, the point of the matter is, there's nothing wrong with being proactive. Nothing wrong. It doesn't have to be seen as, invasion of privacy and all the rest, as I've said. And that's what I work on. I would rather freaking, rather than bitch and moan about the people who we do know about the community, because their channels have only got stronger. Um, the best, and that probably doesn't cover anywhere near close. Anywhere near close to the people that we don't know about. And so you can't constantly going down. You can't constantly go down this direction. You have to change something. And the best way is, as I said, be proactive. So I'd be making videos I do in the future. I have no problem calling somebody out. If somebody comes to me, leaves a comment and says, "Could we check this guy out or check this lady out? I think there's something not right here, or there's been accusations made or whatever." Drop me a link and I'll take a look. I have no problem in calling a spade a spade. I'll do it the right way too. You only have to look at my videos. Do you see? There's only one video left up there at the minute that I have a class any type of way is just like a mocking thing, and that's the one honeybee and beans, the chicken and pasta thing. I was mocking at Pizzagate because that's what I saw it as. It wasn't actually being a legitimate stream or a legitimate dead serious video there. I was kind of just mocking the whole thing for what they were doing and according to their codes. So the rest of the videos are all pretty much on point, and the things that I've brought into question or the claims that I've made, the footage of the show, man, they're foolproof. So, you know, i- i- over the last lot of months, we've seen the whole satanic ritual abuse crap trend in the truth community. We've seen Pizzagate trend. We've seen pedophiles trend, and it's like, you know, there's just so much more to it, that people. Not one of those channels I have seen do anything proactive. Um, and they've made it such a part that now nobody believes anybody anymore. Nobody believes anybody anymore. Nobody believes Fiona Barnett. Nobody believes, Mickey Vegan. Nobody believes Isaac Cappy. Anybody with a sane question in mind is not going to believe these people. And that's damage in itself, because if by chance, and it's a very slim chance, that an actual real victim of SRA, which is that satanic ritual abuse, would pop up on YouTube to do an interview with Lift the Veil. I mean, come on. You know, I've got things in my life I can't even say out loud to myself when I'm alone in the room. Never mind going on the freaking Lift the Veil to talk about it. You know, pe- and it's doing more damage to the truth community. It's everybody's calling everybody into question. Everybody's suspicious of everybody, and everybody's watching everybody like a hawk. And it's damaging. And the end result is you've got all this bitter infighting where, channels are doxing or background check, and it's disgusting, it's disgraceful. You know, if this is what YouTube is for you, why bother? I come on to YouTube to try and find some information that may help me, um, like, research a topic that I'm researching. And that's all I kind of use YouTube for, as far as the whole truth community thing goes. The rest of it might just be for chilling out, listening to some music vids or something like that, there, or watching a couple of documentaries. Things like that. I've mentioned all this. That's what YouTube is for me. This whole truth community is actually a very small part, very smart. It used to be, you used to watch all these things all the time, but it's become such a joke now and all about money. And we haven't even mentioned Q. Haven't even mentioned Q. And you look at Q. This is another one. It's just all these topics end out looking like LARPs, whether they're LARPs or not. They they end up looking like LARPs because of money. A lot of money gets involved with donations, PayPal, Patreon, and all that other stuff that gets involved. People start compromising actual facts because they want to rush a video out, because they want the views, because their videos are monetized, etc., etc. And that's why I've always made the stance. It's not that I'm not against anybody making that money off YouTube, but I do feel, when it comes to the truth community, come on, we all know. I mean, that should be how any logical thinking mind doesn't see this beyond me, but that should be the first thing called into question. When money comes into hands, who has bought you? Because if you know, if Monte Santo uh, turned around and offered a couple of scientists who were doing a research project on the causes of Monte Santo's um, insecticides have on crops and humans and animals, etc., and it ends up being negative. If Monsanto was to turn around and pay for a holiday or some crap like that, there, or for one of these scientists or their uncles or something like that there, well, you would say truth is compromised, you know, and when money is there, best intentions or not, you could be the nicest person in the world, but it's total. You've just nailed it in the head. There, scammers will get their hand in anything, and that's it. You come on here. People come in here with channels with the best intentions. They make their videos. They believe they're being straight and honest, and somebody's going to come along and take your narrative. And they're going to monetize it, and they're going to work off it. That's why I joked about I joked about donuts over here. I quickly stopped it because took it down because a few people started taking it a bit too serious for my liking. And the last thing I wanted to do was get some sort of freaking, you know, legal action taken against me because I've made a parody, a joke, a parody, mocking the Pizzagate thing. So there's only one way to go forward, folks, and that is not everything has to be a negative reaction. Not everything has to be an aggressive action. Um, as I explained about 3 weeks ago, I think it was when I done the stream, uh, and I left it up for quite a while for people to do if that's what they wish to do. A lot of people on YouTube here have chose to believe that Net for Truth was framed. Um, I've lost my thought there, damn it. I looked at something on the screen there. Yeah, no problem. Ladybug, I'll take a wee look at it, so I'll give you a wee shout out, a proper shout out in the next stream. Drop a link there if you want, lady. Drop a link to your channel if you want there in the chat there. Let people know where to go to. No problem. I don't mind anything like that. No worries. But I've lost my train of thought there though. Does anybody remember where I was? Well, Daniel, the point about that whole donut thing was just location, location, location. You had a couple of sorry, Lily. Um, you had a couple of it all happened by accident. Um, it fell into place, and you could make a hell of a lot out of that, as they call them, or you could make it into something that it's not. And if you're in America, it would be a lot more effective. I mean, over here, nobody cares because I'm over here. Like, let's be honest. But the parties. So one of the videos that I put up was uh, uh, because I've been doing research on Net for Truth and looking into his history. I mean, a lot over the past while. That's another thing. People are going to try and make out that they're the only ones doing anything because I've chose to take a stand about certain topics with these people. But the reality is that I did bring a lot of drinks to the party, should I say. But when I was doing this research on Net for Truth, I was looking at things as what he claims as a CV and his record. I was like, this just does not add up. And one of the things I pointed all this out in the video, and I said, look, if you don't think this is right, here's a channel of a guy that, he investigates stolen valor claims. And the sad reality is that thousands of people have chose to believe that Net for Truth was framed over than doing the actual crimes, because that's what all this conspiracy crap is in their head, isn't it? I mean, I don't believe any other platform would have believed. The drama community, I don't believe would have taken that Net for Truth thing, or the flat Earth community or anything like that there. But certainly, when it comes to the whole um, truth community, people are more willing to buy into somebody else, being framed by the government and crap like that there. But those thousands of people that are willing to accept that he was framed, if it was proven that he was stolen valor, they would turn on him like that. They would turn on him like that because he was proven stolen valor. So I said, look, here's the channel, Buds131. Go to his about section on his page, hit his email address up, drop him a link of any of the videos about Net for Truth, and email him and tell him, look, this guy looks dodgy. He's a convicted pedophile. He's been involved in dubious activity on YouTube and other parts of the internet. We think he's stolen valor. Drop that email off to them, and the guy will get to it. Now I know people did email him. I know he did get emailed, but at the same time, the point was, if as many people try and email him as much as possible, the better. But we don't know how long it would possibly take for him to do, and look into this. I haven't heard anything come back, but that was another route, because there's more than one way to skin a cat. Okay, we're not going to believe us over this conviction. Well, if we can prove he's stolen valor, you're going to have to believe us that. Which I believe he is stolen valor big time. I mean, look, there's all sorts of people on here. Fiona Barnett has been discredited too. And I can remember her quite a few years back, before the first time she started coming around all this stuff, I remember her back then. And I can remember being skeptical over then. You had that other guy knocks about with her. What do you call him? The guy that, what do you call it? He confesses online. Read the video up of that too. He confesses online that he. No, sorry, I didn't have a video of it. OG had a video up of. But he confesses of Shorter. That's him. That's him. Toto Shorter. That's the name. He confesses online to like abusing his 3-year-old nephew. I don't know. I'm assuming that he said he was like 12 or 13 at the time, I believe. But he comes online and he spills that out. Now he deletes all the stuff. This guy claims he was the Antichrist at one stage. He claims he was Lucifer. His head's well gone. He says he was abused, the satanic ritual abuse. His family came out against him and told everybody he's full of shit, basically. But he came out making these claims that because he was abused, he then went on to abuse his cousin, more or less. And he does this on YouTube, like, and then Lift the Veil has him on his channel. What's that all about? Like, and then at the same time, Fiona Barnett is doing stuff for this guy as well. She's making videos with him, and they're doing streams and shit together. And then the next thing, copies are as well. It's just been one big bullshit hoax from the start. And there is a certain element of people that will be woke up to it, that will see it for what it is, and will call it for what it is. And those people end up getting attacked for whatever reason, because they've spoken when they weren't supposed to speak. As I like to call it, talking when I should have been listening. Talking when I should have been listening. And that's what these channels want. They don't want you to think for yourselves. They want to put you. Do you remember the stream I did about the rabbit hole, folks? The rabbits, the ferrets. What do you mean, Lady Court? Talking when you should be listening. I used to talk a lot when I was younger instead of listening. Yeah. My jaw wired up a few times because of that. The challenges of youth. So, folks, I don't really know what direction my channel will be going in. I do like giving a review of what I see during the week and giving my viewpoint on it. And if things come up in the question where I'm being questioned, shooting them down and showing you the right way. Um, as far as videos, I'm doing this one at the minute of what parents should be doing to protect their children, their loved ones, their nieces, their nephews, their next door neighbors' kids, all of it. Spread the word out. Years and years ago when I was over in America, it was one of the things that I did notice back then was that in the suburbs and stuff, um, there was a strong sense of community. There was a lot more interaction, and I feel that the age of the computer and the internet has really hindered all that. Has really, it sent everybody into their own wee bubble. Toto, I can assure you, it was the most painful lesson I ever learned in life. Don't be talking when you should be listening. Well, there's all sorts of settings. I mean, there's protection settings on most phones as well to make it a lot more simplified. Obviously, 10 years ago it would have been a bit more difficult now. A lot of parents weren't tech savvy. Um, yeah, totally. Um, wouldn't have been as savvy about things, but nowadays the governments have made, pushed the industry into making the internet a safer place. So the options are there. It's all about, and everybody likes to think they're a good parent. And I'm not calling anybody bad parents either. But what I'm saying is, you know, it's maybe time just to pay that wee bit more attention to what's going on with our children. And that little bit of attention that you give to this subject may just stop maybe your child or your niece or somebody else's child becoming a victim. and I think that's the only plausible way to go. I think it's the only way. Nobody's addressed this yet. Nobody's even thought about addressing it, and that's a bit shameful in my mind that nobody has. Everybody's so caught up in you know shouting and roaring from the cliff tops. Look at me! Look at me! Look at me! You know, rather than say here, let's make this simple, folks. There's bad people everywhere you go in life. When you go to bed at night, do you leave your doors unlocked? No, you don't. You lock your doors. When you go out shopping, when you go to Tesco's or Walmart, do you leave your car unlocked? No, you don't. You lock your cars up, folks, because there's assholes out there that would steal it given half a chance. Well, those same assholes are on the internet, and it's time to it's time for people to take the mantle and start doing it for themselves. Start taking responsibility for what's around you. I do. A lot of my subs are older, older. Sorry, should I say between the 35 and 55 mark, according to the analytics on the channel. So most kids are probably like teenage years, or maybe a wee bit over, and some younger. But we're all of that age where we can certainly help make a difference, even if it's just to show somebody else who's a parent who maybe isn't, aware of things to the extent that they should be. Talk to your neighbours. Next time you go for a coffee, daddy. Next time you go for a coffee with friends, bring up the subject. If they've got a couple of kids, and it's a taboo subject that maybe people don't want to talk about, but I feel they should do, because we certainly haven't been doing it, and everything we have been doing so far has not helped. It's fantastic that a few of these guys have been found out, and you can make people aware of them. That's great, but I'm also aware that there's plenty of channels out there that haven't been found out, who are doing things that we don't know, and it's the only road to go down now. Is be prepared. The Boy Scouts. When you go camping, don't you bring a tent? If you want to light a fire, don't you bring matches? All these things. You're always prepared for all these other situations in life. All these people who prepping for shit hit the fan scenarios, but aren't taking the necessary steps to take note of what their children are, or who their children could be vulnerable to online. So that's what I'm going to be doing anyway. I'll be getting that video finished, and I'll get it up. And certainly, obviously, I'm not monetized, etc. And if somebody wants to share my video and feels that they want to monetize it, and it's making people aware, I don't care. I honestly don't. I'm not going to argue over things anymore, because at the end of the day, I think the subject is more important. Some people will only share stuff if they think they're going to make money off it. It's just the way it is. That's the way people are. Not everybody, obviously, but some. Yeah, Renee, you're 100% right. But I think today's society, I think they really made a big effort to, push parents into being friends with your children. You know, that seemed to be a big thing that happened about 10, 15 years ago. You know, oh, treat your child as, be a friend to them. Whereas I don't really, I don't believe that. I think being a parent is all part and parcel of it. Your kids are there to learn. It's better that they learn, a lesson from you than a lesson from some sick fucker like Net for Truth. It's as simple as that. That's as simple as I can put it. Yeah, Daniel, I agree with you. I don't like the whole profit for pain anymore than anybody else. I don't understand why anybody would want to monetize that crap. I mean, if you, I don't know, there's two ways of looking at it. If you're monetizing it and donating the money to a reputable charity that helps make a difference, fair enough. But if you're monetizing to keep the money in your pocket, nah, screw that. And yes, uh, you're right, Rennie. Kids don't know respect anymore because when you watch television nowadays, you watch the TV shows, the father is always portrayed as some sort of dumb idiot that everybody pokes fun of. Nearly every TV show is like that. Nearly every sitcom is like that. The father's an idiot, and the whole family take a piss out of him. And compare that back to 40 years ago, 50 years ago, when you had the Waltons. Could you imagine everybody taking taking the piss out of the dad on the Balkans. Man, he'd have took a belt to that boy's ass if they'd done that. Wouldn't he, like? They took a belt to their ass and there'd be nothing said. You know, it's certainly, I think it's not easy being a parent nowadays, um, especially single parents, even harder. Because it is a big responsibility. It is a big. I don't mean to say burden. It shouldn't be. I don't mean it as a burden, but ultimately it falls on your shoulders, and when it becomes one person, man, it's very difficult. You know, I got that. I tell you what, right? I When I was a kid, I went into my mom's bedroom when I shouldn't have went into my mom's bedroom, right? I didn't knock the door, and let's just say I ended up getting a belt because of it. Um, and I can assure you now, I never went into my mother's bedroom again without knocking the door. And I never walked in after I knocked the door. I waited for a response because I wasn't getting no belt again. You see, this is it. Oh, you're not, everywhere nowadays, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to lift your hands to your children anymore. You're not allowed to discipline them. You have to reason with a child nowadays. And, I don't believe that's right either. Parents ultimately should be allowed to raise their child within reason, like the way they see fit. Sometimes children need a good smack, you know, good clip right ear doesn't do anybody the world of harm. If you're abusing your kid, if you're physically beating the crap out of them every time that they do a little something that doesn't warrant it, well, that's a different ball game altogether. That's wrong. But I mean, most parents are the last thing they ever want to do anyway is to lift their hand. So I think logically speaking, I can't see another way around it, folks. If anybody can see another way around it, if anybody can suggest or wants to suggest anything regarding me making this video about making parents aware, um, if anybody has anything they want to contribute, please don't be afraid to speak up. Drop a comment. If you think I've left something out, or maybe I'm wrong in something, please leave a comment once this video is up. I've absolutely no problem at all. Don't take offense. Don't mind people come up and saying, "Here, Scooby, I think you're wrong there, mate." I think I really don't. And the only time I get annoyed with anybody is people who come in and try to disrupt what you're talking about. So you talk about what they want you to talk about. That's the crap that I don't like. And I won't play that game at all. So, um, no, River, you don't need to use violence, but I mean, I wouldn't call giving a clip around the ear violence either. you know, uh, Smashing your kid's jaw, that's violence in my book. But you know, um, there was always the threat of just wait till your dad gets home. That type of stuff. Um, I don't believe anybody has to use violence, but I don't think there's anything wrong with freaking, you know, a child getting smacked by a parent. I mean, they're not ultimately the parent is not doing this. They're not, you know, they're not trying to beat the shit out of them. Like they're not trying to hospitalize them. These kids aren't. They're somebody that they fell out with in the pub when they want to knock 10 shades out of. It's not like that. But then again, on the other hand, there is people out there who are very abusive to their kids, no matter what way you do it. So I think parents should be given the benefit of the doubt as far as common sense on how to discipline their children. Um, and the parents that are arseholes should be dealt with. Yeah, Rennie, I believe you're right. Listen, I'm going to tell you this now. Here's my attitude about parenting. Um, you may be a wee bit surprised when I say this, but I compare it the same way as raising a pup. And by that I mean, from as soon as, say, I don't know, as soon as my kid was about 10 months old and was starting to understand yes and no, uh, I started the whole foundations then. Rather than wait till she's about 6 years old before you start, putting because I think if you do it at the beginning, it's far easier as you go along. And it really is easier. You ever try and toilet train a 2-year-old dog? Whew, it's not easy. But try and toilet train a pup. no problem. And it's the same with kids. You know, you start young. I've always said, you start as you mean to go on. Don't start halfway through and then wonder why it's not working. You know, foundations, folks. That's the way I am. That's the way my mindset is anyway. Foundations. It's all about foundations. You get your foundations right, then you're laughing. You know, you could kind of compare it to the parable of building your house in the sand, building a house in rocks type thing. You know, the same principles all round. You put good foundations down, and because at the end of the day, all you can do, all raising the child is basically is preparing them for adulthood. You know, it's funny when my wee girl was ill or anything like that. There, she only ever came to me. You know, whenever she wasn't well or feeling sick or something like that, there, it's me she'd always come to. Maybe it's more sympathetic. Who knows? But eh, folks, you know what? Kids need options, folks. That's what I think. Kids need options. You know, as they're growing into, you know, as they go from the age of say like 10 to like into the teenage years, you need to occupy their brains. And one of the best ways to occupy a child's mind, especially daughters, is horses. Get them into horses. If you get them into horses, and get them into the whole buzz of you know, being around horses, going to the shows, going to events, because a horse is a very, you know, it's a huge responsibility. Even if you don't own one, and you're just going to, you know, maybe lease one, or maybe you go to stables or something like that there, where you can go out for a couple of hours or something like that there. But just that responsibility of having to look after something, and then, you know, enjoying seeing your responsibility come into fruition. You know, it's something else. That's why I think every family should have a dog. There you go, really. You know, you've got your finger on the pulse there, girl. You know, it teaches them so much. It really does. And it gets them away from a lot of bullshit in the world because their minds in a proactive atmosphere. You know, like that's why see family pets and all, and you get family pets, dogs and things like that there. One thing always disgruntles me is people always end up getting a dog because of their appearance, what they look like, you know, what's trending and things like that there, rather than pick a dog that suits the personality of the family. You know, all these dogs have certain traits, have certain characteristics. Some dogs are more suitable for a family surrounding, and some are more suitable for one person. You know, and like I'll give an example. Border collies, like they're a one-person dog. You know, that they'll listen to that one person, and everybody else can go jump. They'll do all the good things, but when it comes to the serious stuff, nah, you're not going to tell me. Whereas there's other types of breeds of dogs out there will go with anyone in the family. You know, and treat them as the alpha. And you know, I just think it's a great experience for children to grow up with, providing it's the right dog, it suits the family. Really is. Same with cats, things like that there. You know, I think there's just so much of a distraction available now. but let me see. What's All right, folks. Listen, I've rambled on long enough on here. I hope that the main message makes sense. I hope people are starting to connect the dots and see things for what they are. People maybe started out one way, I don't know, but certainly the way it's looking now, it looks very different in my mind. Again, if anybody has anything to or would like to contribute anything that I'm talking about with this video and stuff, feel free to leave comments whenever this video goes up. Put a comment in. You're more than welcome to. If anybody has a criticism, drop me a comment too. And if I can address it, I will address it. Not a problem. At the end of the day, it's nighttime, folks. And that's an important message there, folks. You know, end of the day, it's nighttime. So hopefully I'll get everything sorted out here by the weekend. But I don't want to make this video just a wee hit and miss thing, folks. I want it to be actually quite informative and with a lot of information where people can go to seek, help with things like technology and that there. So it's not going to be a wee quick video, folks. So yeah, thank you for coming and listening. Appreciate everybody that's been around. Again, don't if you have anything to say, don't be afraid to leave it in the comment section, folks. Thank you very much. Scooby out.